So you've been looking all over Colorado for the perfect place to live, and
I
you've
searched for 3 years for them.
finally decided that it's going to be Parker. Well, you may be overwhelmed with the amount of neighborhoods and different places in and around the town of Parker, and you're not sure which one you might want to explore as your home base, where you want to move to. Well, today we're going to highlight 5 specific neighborhoods in and around the Parker area that you should definitely check out when you're thinking of your move to Denver. And guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Tim Kampmann, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we talk about all things Denver real estate, and we highlight all the amazing suburbs and towns in and around the Denver area. Today, of course, we're in Parker, and right now I'm at the Bayou Regional Park. Massive park with a lot of trails all around, and a baseball field and a football field. It's kind of rare to see a football field in one of these parks that's not attached to a school. So if you got kids and you're moving out here, this is definitely a place where you are going to spend some of your weekends. So to begin, we are going to talk about 5 neighborhoods in and around the town of Parker that you should definitely check out and give you a lot of variety at a few different price points. Starting off here on the south end where I'm at now, we're going to highlight the neighborhood of the Pinery. So guys, the Pinery is going to be one of the more historic neighborhoods of Parker, and you may have heard people talk about it. It has a lot of variety back here in the style of home and age of homes. So the Pinery on the north end is going to be some of the older, more original style homes of the Pinery, built in the 80s and 90s. And something that's a little more unique about living here is it's not your typical subdivision neighborhood. You're going to have a little bit larger lots, anywhere from 1/4 of an acre to 2 to 3 acres in size, and then there are some that are quite a bit larger than that, but you're going to have more of a rural feel in the community here. There's not as amenities nearby, but there is a golf course that is part of the community. The median price of homes in this area is going to be about $925,000, so it is a little bit more exclusive, high-end neighborhood. Now there's a couple of different kind of divisions within the Pinery back here. One to the further south end is called the Timbers. That's where you're going to find a lot of custom homes, and your price point there is going to be $1.2 million plus. But if you are in the Pinery, the older part of it, there are options around that 700, 750 range as well. Now, some of the things people love about living in the Pinery is the character and charm of being in an older neighborhood where not everything is kind of cookie cutter and uniformed and conformed. They do have an HOA down here. It's not as strict as some of the other ones that I've seen. One of the things people really do like about living down here in the Pinery is a little bit more uniqueness in the style of homes. It's going to feel a little bit more rural, and there's a lot of trees around you, not just from the pine trees and some of the aspens and cottonwoods that are really beautiful this time of year as the leaves change, but you're going to have more of a woodsy, a forest feel to it than you will have in your typical subdivision, and especially in the new construction areas where all the vegetation's kind of been taken out for them to build the houses, and you got to wait 10 or 15 years to get some of that mature landscaping. Now, some of the challenges that come with living in the Pinery, some of the downsides to living in it, are the commutability. The Pinery is further on the south end of Parker, and you're going to have to take Parker Road to get most of the areas north to like C470 or shoot over into Castle Rock and Castle Pines to get to I-25. So if you work in Denver or the Denver Tech Center, it's going to be a bit of a longer commute than if you were to select one of the neighborhoods on the north side of Parker. And another negative to living in the Pinery is cell service is not great down here. No matter what carrier you have, there are pockets where it's just dead and you don't get very good service around here. I've been out touring homes with people, and my service with T-Mobile can be spotty. Their service with Verizon or AT&T can also be spotty. So it doesn't matter who you have. You can run into issues with connectivity, and something to consider if you're using like a cellular towers for your internet, Wi-Fi in your home. They do have CenturyLink and Comcast out here, so you do have more reliable hardwire or fiber internet options. But if you're choosing to only use some of the cellular carriers, you may have a challenge in getting service in parts of the Pinery. Okay guys, so one thing I do dislike about the Pinery, and it might be just the age of when a lot of these homes were built, but they didn't put sidewalks in when they built the neighborhood. And as a father who has kids who likes to go out and walk to the playgrounds and stuff, I don't want to be walking on the roads, and some of these are kind of narrow for where they are in the neighborhood. Other point that I've noticed about the Pinery is some of the residents are a little bit uppity and think it's a little bit fancier than it actually is. When people talk about living in Parker and then they talk about which neighborhood, they say, oh, the Pinery. Oh, get off your high horse, Sally. Okay, the Pinery is not that great. You can't say that unless you live in the Timbers portion of the Pinery. Okay, and stop number 2 on our tours of Parker, we're going to check out the trails at Crowfoot. Now, this is an area I highlighted because of the new construction. When people are thinking of moving out here, they always want to explore some of the new construction that's available in the area, not only to see the new designs and things like that, the prices of the new construction versus resale. So Trails at Crowfoot is one of our newer developments here in Parker, and there are several to check out. So if new construction is on your list, make sure you're reaching out so we can go over the entire list and all the communities that are available. But this spot of Parker is kind of going to be halfway in between Parker and Castle Rock. So Trails at Crowfoot is off of Crowfoot Valley Road. It's one of the more rural roads that connects the south end of Parker into the south and east ends of Castle Rock. So if you do a lot of business in Castle Rock or in Parker, and you want something that's a little more in between, most of the people that choose these communities are either able to work remote or work a couple days in the office and a couple days at home from a place in Denver or the Denver Tech Center. But if you do happen to be in those areas where you're commuting to and from Castle Rock, this could be a great option. Homes are going to be starting in the $725,000 range and going up from there. And you got quite a few different builders, from Taylor Morrison to Richmond, Lennar, and I believe even D.R. Horton has one nearby in this area as well. So quite a bit of variety from the builders. One thing that is definitely a downside of some of these communities is that a lot of the builders have very similar styles in the homes that they're building. So you're not going to have as much variety or uniqueness, character, and charm as some of the older developments and some of the places where they don't have the same cookie cutter house. Every, third model is identical to yours. So that's sort of a downside for people. Also, I found that new construction is a bit more expensive than some of the resale homes that you'll get. Some things that the builders do to combat the higher prices is offer some incentives or some lower interest rates. So those can be options for you to help the affordability. But make sure if you're buying one of the new construction homes, you plan on staying there for at least 3 to 5 years, because sometimes you can't get your money back out if you go to sell it that quickly after moving in. Now, one of the great things to do if you're on the south end of Parker, whether that's the Pinery, the Timbers, or maybe even the trails at Crowfoot Valley, is to check out some of the state parks around. So one of the nearby ones just south of where we are in Parker is Castlewood Canyon State Park, and you got a lot of hiking trails and biking trails. There's also some rock formations for people who like to rock climb, but it's a really nice park just to go and explore the waterfalls and rivers that run through it. And it's really great for kids because they have a lot of paved trails throughout the park that are easier maybe on those little 3 and 4-year-olds' legs to be able to get out and enjoy nature. And parents, you might not have to carry them the entire way, like if you were going to Rocky Mountain National Park in the mountains and you're on all those natural trails. So definitely a good place to come and experience on one of your day trips out in Parker. All right, guys, we have moved a little bit further north, and this one is actually going to be the northeast of all of the neighborhoods in Parker, butting up to Centennial and Aurora, and it is the neighborhood of Cottonwood. So this is going to be one of the oldest parts of Parker, and as Parker began to grow, there is a lot of homes that were built in the 60s and 70s out in far east Parker, where you have a lot of the horse property and stuff. But as far as subdivisions go, this part of Parker, Cottonwood, is going to be one of the oldest and also most affordable. So if you're looking for more of an entry-level home, place to get started owning real estate in Parker, this can be a great option. Median home price here is going to be right around $550, but there are options under $500, and that's fairly rare to find anywhere in the Denver metro area, is to get a single-family home detached, not sharing any walls with anybody, under $500. So $475, $500 for basic, 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom, or maybe even a 3-bedroom home can be found in the area of Cottonwood. And you might be wondering, why did they name it Cottonwood? Well, it's about 1 billion cottonwood trees all around here. This butts up to the Cherry Creek trail that goes all the way up into Denver. So if you want to do a bike to work situation and live in Parker and then bike up into Denver, it's going to be one long bike ride, but definitely possible here. Another benefit of this is there's a ton of trails, a lot of open space that all kind of intertwine into different parts of Parker. Right here, I'm on the bridge that's walking over Cherry Creek. Let me turn this around so you guys can take a look. So we don't have traditional rivers like people have back out east, but this little creek kind of runs through Parker all the way up into Denver. I'm sure joins up with the Platte River along the way someplace. So it's actually fuller than I've seen it in a while, which is good because we are arid kind of desert climate here. Some of the benefits of living in the Cottonwood area, again, it is one of the most affordable neighborhoods. So if you're looking for a starter home, something to just get into, it can be a great option for you. Also, there are rental opportunities here. So when you find some of those kind of entry-level homes, some of them do get bought up by investors. So a downside of this is there may be a higher percentage of renters versus owners in the neighborhood. And sometimes, let's be honest, landlords don't always take the best care of their property. So that may be something to contend with. Another part of Cottonwood that is benefit or downside, I'd say it's a little bit more of a downside, is no HOAs in this area. So you may have homes that are very pristine condition. They've been kept up really nicely, but you may also have every other home that has not been kept up and the weeds have taken over the front yard. And there's really nothing you can do about it if someone wants to, open up a garage shop in the front yard and be working on automobiles on the public street. So some people absolutely love not having an HOA. They don't want to answer to anybody. They want that ultimate freedom to do what they please with their home and their property. But it does carry some, there is a benefit to having an HOA and keeping up the property values and making sure that the neighborhoods are kept in good condition and to protect your investment going forward into the future. All right, headed to our next neighborhood. I'm going to call this the Goldilocks of all of our neighborhoods here in Parker, and that is Stonegate. Okay, guys, so here we are in the neighborhood of Stonegate. The reason I call this kind of the Goldilocks of all the neighborhoods that we're checking out is it's not too old, it's not too new, it's not too far, it's not too close. It's just right for so many people who make the move to Parker. So median home price in this area is going to be about $600 to $650. There are some options that are obviously going to be higher than that, but there's also some options lower, and they do have some condo and townhome options that are not far away from this part of Parker. Also very close to thoroughfares to get in and out of Parker. So if you need to commute to the Denver area or the DTC, Lincoln, which kind of runs right out across the north end of Parker, is right here outside the neighborhood of Stonegate. You can quickly get up to Denver or I-25 or take E-470 if you need to get out to the airport or some other place around Denver or Aurora. The other benefit of living in Stonegate is a well-established neighborhood. You have a lot of mature trees, a lot of the homes built in the early 2000s, and you have a lot of trail systems and parks within walking distance of all the homes. So kind of the best of all worlds if you're looking for something that is a little bit more established neighborhood. You do have the more mature landscaping versus the new construction. So another thing people really love about location of Stonegate and the neighborhood here is you do have more of that community feel, that you're very close to, like your neighborhood rec centers, you're close to all the parks, you're close to all the trails, and you're also not very far away from that downtown main street of Parker where they have a lot of the festivals. They got Parker Days not too far from here. So you have a lot of the stuff that draws people into Parker, whether that be for the smaller town feel, the more community, the more engagement maybe with your neighbors. So you have a lot of those things kind of all lumped in to this neighborhood of Stonegate. All right, and for this stop, we're in the neighborhood of Meridian, and I'm going to include actually two neighborhoods in this tour. They are Meridian and Sierra Ridge. They're right next door to each other. They're on the northwest corner of Parker. They're kind of butting up to like the Lone Tree area, and they're very similar in a lot of ways. A couple of small differences that we'll hit on, but this, I'd say, is my top neighborhoods in all of Parker. I've been doing a lot of touring, not only for these videos, but I had a client reach out and identified Parker as his preferred area, and we've toured a lot of homes here in the Sierra Ridge and the Meridian neighborhoods. And largest benefit of living in the Sierra Ridge and Meridian neighborhoods is location. You're very close to Lincoln. You're very close to E-470. You can get up to the Denver Tech Center fairly easily. You can have easy access to the airport from I-25 or up into any of the parts of Denver if you do work and need to commute. Most of the homes here were built post-2010, so you're going to have some of the most modern building codes and safety regulations and all that. But you're also going to have all the trails that are built in to these neighborhoods, the parks that are nearby. I'm coming into one of those parks now. And it's great to just be able to let the kids ride their bikes to one of the playgrounds or one of the parks nearby. They also have, your own community pools, things that are run by the HOA. So you have community feel, safe neighborhood, clean neighborhood. You're not going to have quite as mature landscaping and trees as some of the other neighborhoods like the Pinery or in Stonegate. But what you do have is a lot of the modern conveniences that are nearby. So one of the reasons this is one of my favorite, or at the top of the list for favorite neighborhoods in Parker is the quality of home that you get. So you're going to get a lot of homes with the high ceilings, you know, the recessed lighting, all of the modern amenities and granite countertops, high quality cabinetry, and larger, more spacious rooms than you'll find in some of the older homes, and especially in some of the more historic neighborhoods that don't have the ideal layout. But the other reason I really like this neighborhood is location to all the outdoor activity. So not only do you have all these parks and you got miles of trails throughout all of Parker that you can go and explore, whether that's running or biking or, you know, just getting out for an evening walk. You have so many parks that are just within walking distance of your house. You have trails that lead to other trails. You can bike to all different parts of the South Denver metro area. And you also have things like the Parker Incline, where a lot of workout enthusiasts go climb the stairs. There's a better one in Castle Rock, but hey, that's beside the point. You can go to the one in Parker. They also have Hess Reservoir open on the weekends. So if you want to get out and do paddle boarding, that's literally 5-7 minutes away. So you have a lot of great things to do, not only right outside your front door, but just a 5 or a 10-minute drive from where you live. What are the negatives of Meridian Village? I've hit on the negatives for everybody else, so I've got to make sure I share those with you here as well. So one, the higher price point does scare some people away. Some of these homes will approach that $900,000 mark. You are getting a lot for your money, and generally that will include a finished basement, but you are paying a premium, one for the location and two for the size and caliber of home. Some of these homes are over 5,000 square feet, so you are paying a premium for having all that square footage. Con number two is sometimes the lot sizes are a little bit small. Sometimes that's due to the size of home. People have decided they want more living space inside than outside, so your yard space can be lacking, and some of these just have maybe a small patio off of the back of the house and not really a lot of yard space. For some people that's great, it's lower maintenance, but if you have kids that you want to have play in the backyard and dog to run around, you do have parks nearby, but it's not going to be a lot of space in your backyard or in your entire lot. So I hope you guys were able to get a feel not only for some different areas of Parker, but different styles of homes that are available down here, different neighborhoods and the feel of each of them. You got the Pinery that's a little more upscale. Then we move further to the north in the neighborhoods like Cottonwood. That's going to be one of the oldest ones, a lot more affordability, but no HOA. And you may be hit or miss on the quality of homes. They may not have had all the upkeep that some others have had. And then we moved a little bit to the west, a little bit closer to I-25, and further north, you're in the neighborhoods of Stonegate, which is kind of the happy medium of all of these, lower price points, good quality of home, more established neighborhood. And then we went to Sierra Ridge and Meridian Village kind of to end this tour. But let's not forget our new construction at the trails at Crowfoot. That was also a very popular area for people that are really searching for new construction. There are so many other neighborhoods that I wasn't able to get to on this tour, guys. Places like Heirloom, that's right down the street, Newland Gulch, Clark Farms. If you're thinking of a move to Parker, make sure you hit me up. Call, text, or email. I got your back on all things Denver real estate, and we'll find the perfect neighborhood, whether that's Parker, maybe it's Castle Rock, maybe it's Denver. Maybe we need to go back up there and do some more searching. I got your back on the whole Denver metro area. So make sure you subscribe to the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.